So like, does he like just?
So last time on Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem, we did Roberto Bianchi's chapter. So
Bro,
now we get to play as Link, because he had a secret hidden page in the Tome of Eternal Darkness, which the only reason why I cut out all of the pregame getting to it is because it takes so long to fucking load. Death Mountain actually looks really good.
Ugh, this isn't really happening.
But we did complete Roberto Bianchi's chapter last time, and as such we have the power to survey the area. You can actually examine this picture earlier, but you won't be able to see the chapter page.
The Black Guardian grows restless, my liege. Its hunger increases, and the binding continues to weaken. We feed it flesh, but I fear it will not guard the relic too much longer.
There is no choice in the matter. It must remain and guard the artifact until the time of planetary alignment. After that, the Guardian may return to its lair. Our master does not like failure. It is imperative to keep the binding intact.
Then we have to find more flesh and bone.
Now, something that's kind of weird about the Black Guardian is that it just takes no shit from Pius, despite the fact that Pius is Ulias' #1 dude. He just does his own thing.
The war to end all wars redefined how mankind looked at war and the value of human life. Over 19,000 men lost their lives every day in the trenches of the Somme. Some say uselessly, some invoke a higher cause. I read accounts of the slaughter from many journalists who spent time in the trenches, but I found the account of a certain Peter Jacob to be the most horrible of all. His implication about the ancients' involvement with the war was hideous and so obvious. With the horror of the Battle of the Somme scant miles away and the distant echoes of pounding artillery, a young journalist named Peter Jacob researched his latest story from the front lines. His grim task brought him to Oubliette Cathedral, now transformed into a field hospital.
I find no solace in the purpose behind all the senseless violence that surrounds me. Young men die at a rate unheard of in centuries of warfare. Shelling, machine guns, and mustard gas rip, pierce, and burn their flesh. Men soak gauze in their own urine to stop the insidious gas. The hospitals here cannot cope with the torrent of wounded.
So right away I wonder where that dude is taking that dead guy. After we pick up this letter, of course. So we're gonna run all the way over here. And he's gonna be gone. There's just a thing there. There's a door used to be there. We will be revealing it soon. Yeah, we are playing as Peter Jacob, who's a journalist during World War I. He actually has a photography flash pan that can be used to stun enemies. It even says it in the description that it can stun enemies. He also comes equipped with this lucky penny, which obviously brings good luck. And then this is a soldier's letter, where he was admitted to the hospital and he was like very mortally injured. He wasn't going to ever walk again. And then he finds that people are just disappearing in the middle of the night. Now, the penny will bring good luck, but the penny will not bring good sanity. Peter has a poor sanity meter, but that's not important because his magic meter is actually one of the best in the game. So yeah, we need to get where I need to go. I need to get out of this. I'm totally playing this game live right now. It's not like I'm doing this post-commentary and lost my audio. This isn't really... Well, actually, technical difficulties are very believable, so... So now we got some soldiers' orders. So we have guards that are pretty much posted all around the area, and one of them is going to step aside because these orders are ordering said guard to be out on the front lines. Maybe it's this guard. No, that is not Private Thompson. Peter's not very athletic, so he does outwind very easily. There's actually a sanity effect in this area where you can like go back to Paul Luther's time and vice versa, back in Paul Luther's chapter. Okay, yeah, we definitely don't want to go outside and get shot. Okay, this guard is giving a hint because he's probably been standing there doing nothing for 9 hours straight. Let's relieve him. Alright, so we have these propaganda posters here. I am actually really bad at reading French, but I know the one on the left says victory is ours, and I could probably make these out if I really tried because I took Spanish and, you know, Latin roots and whatnot, but yeah. There's actually a sanity effect in here that I miss. One of these posters actually turns into something else with low sanity. Same thing with the one painting in the Roivas Mansion. Unfortunately, I miss it in this chapter. I don't get it. But it exists. I actually didn't know it exists. But yeah, picking up this revolver, nothing bad should happen. Oh, now it's dark. Oh, now it's really dark. But Bianchi did sacrifice himself for a greater good, so he does get a statue to commemorate said sacrifice. And these faces get the agony of defeat. Well, that was not the correct spell. I don't even know what I'm doing. What are you doing past me? You know where your spells are. Oh yeah, there are enemies out here, so let's re-equip our revolver. And then... oh, it's a bone thief. Bullets are completely useless against you. Goodbye. Yeah, so the nurses that you see get attacked, you can actually save them. But this place is just littered with bone thieves. We have soldiers that are possessed by bone thieves, but we already knew that one. There's this rifle that was not on the altar before, but now it is. Guns aren't really going to do much against bone thieves. These are pretty much the only enemies we're going to be facing, too. It's like they can dodge bullets if they're not winding up for a lunge. That one didn't even move and it dodged my bullet. Fighting bone thieves with guns is a bigger pain in the ass than it looks. And Peter holds the rifle weird. He like puts it in his armpit for whatever reason. But surely the nurse will give us something good for saving her life, right? Nope, just thanks. Just don't stick around, but I'm not sure where you would go. You could probably go outside and get shot on sight, but would they really shoot a nurse? They probably would. Have some guards assassinated around here. There's actually... you can save this nurse too, but for some reason, yeah, the targeting wasn't working and I couldn't save her in time. But she doesn't give you anything if you save her. There is actually a sanity effect that I also missed in this chapter. I think in general you can actually do this with NPCs, is that I got distracted by that one audio sound effect. I'm actually listening to all of the audio present in this video. But yeah, there's a sanity effect where you can talk to an NPC and like you get a line of dialogue that says that you get a close look at them and like their teeth are actually really long fangs and that they're bloodied and elongated. See, the thing is that these zombies are fake, but they're blocking my way regardless, which kind of sucks. Yeah, back to that sanity effect. Like, the dialogue will say, oh, it's a bone thief, but the NPC actually isn't a bone thief. If you have the Tome of Eternal Darkness and the NPC doesn't attack you, then they're not a bone thief. Alright, so you probably saw that torch at the end of the room that I completely missed. But now we have some really small enemies. Apparently they've been taking some poison mushrooms. Yeah, that one's an interesting sanity effect. Not really too sure what to make of it. But yeah, I did miss that torch. I will go back for it eventually, but it's not particularly useful. So right here we have the really aged music note sheet, but we can't play the organ because there's no power. That last tank round that blasted the cathedral kind of took the power out. So now it's an engineering puzzle. Like, what Cthulhu-based game wouldn't be complete without an engineering puzzle? The desk is suspiciously clean, even though the death certificates are supposed to be written there. It's almost as if the Eternal Darkness doesn't actually fucking care. But yeah, that's basically what they're doing. Oh, I pull out my rifle to show that you can actually target and shoot rats, but it's really not worth your time to do so. But yeah, that's basically what they're doing. They're using people who have been mortally wounded in the war to feed the Greater Guardian. Alright, gonna get our Ocelot on this. The roof is leaking. I got water on my head. Oh, it's not water, it's just blood. Oh, wait, blood. Yeah, so in Paul Luther's chapter, there was a wine cask that led to a secret door. It's not there anymore, so don't even bother trying it. So we need to get heat going to the generator. And then we need to get power going to the generator. So, what are you doing past me? It's the penny. Yeah, you jammed the lucky penny in place of the fuse because copper is a really good conductant, especially back in the old days when pennies were made almost completely out of copper. It's a dangerous fix, but it worked. So now we go back to this room. This room has one of the most infamously stumping puzzles in the game. Yeah, so the door isn't locked, but it won't open up because something on the other side is blocking it. And there's a hole over there that you can fit a trapper through. Now you go through here, there's a dead body blocking the door. And this was actually when I got company interrupted me and I tried to pause the game. But pausing the game, pressing start, releases control of the monster. So the thing that people overlook, you have to target an object to send it to the trapper dimension. Yep, this was one of the soldiers who ran away from the darkness and then succumbed to his wounds behind the door. And if you actually get warped to the trapper dimension, you will see his body there. And it will never decompose. But now we have our 7-point circle of power, so we can go ahead and reveal that door. And then this is where I decide to make some spells. I believe I cut it out. Yes, there we go. So this is a good way to my spell setup where I have shield on the left because normally a right-handed person holds a shield to the left, which means that there will be an attack spell that I will be putting to the right. Then enchant at top and recover at Y, because Y is an essential button. And health is essential to live. Great stuff. Yeah. Now there was actually some creeping around of bone thieves. Bone thieves spawn with every puzzle you solve. Alright, now that we've played the Daredevil theme, we can get whatever the fuck this thing is. A door handle. So I believe I have the 7-point enchant item spell equipped. And I believe the differences between the different points is the amount of damage that they do, not so much the length of time. So they went to great lengths to hide this door. Not only did they make the door completely invisible, but they took the handle off of it. There's nothing in there. Well, nothing more. In fairness, I did not see the door because the Reveal Invisible spell has been obscuring my vision. When you cast it at a 7 point, it gets really, really opaque in its color. Or more opaque than before. More, like, still translucent, but... you take my point. Now, there was this trapper that's squealing that I can't seem to find, but it was, like, behind me, so I don't know what happened, but I didn't get trapped by it, and there was nothing for me to worry about. Now, this is a completely optional area, but it does get you this really awesome elixir. You drink it, it gives you a full recovery of your magic. Which means that we're going to be fighting the Greater Guardian. Despite how much despair that Peter is in, we are going to be fighting a big-ass monster. Now, I fuck up here. Usually I take the Bone Thief's head off with this one shot, but I didn't do it. And, this is actually the third soldier's letter. I didn't pick up the second one. And I was just like, well, what happened? I never missed that letter. Because I never do. And I'm about to read it, and I'm just like, oh, no, I can't read it yet. I need to read the second one first. I mean, you could read it, but then be rather confused. And no pressure plate puzzle again, just push the bookshelf. Oh, the flash! I could have flashed the Bone Thief and then shot him with the rifle, instead of just waiting to get an opening. Okay. So they fortified the defenses a little bit since the last time we went to get the key from there. Because last time they just had 2 zombies guarding it, and this time they had a zombie and a trapper, which isn't an improvement, but whatever. Alright, this is where I cut out the backtracking to get the second soldier's letter. But I do return to this room, you know, the bishop's room, to find out, oh hey, you can pick up the torch. That'll help me read the letter once I find it. So this goes back to the front way. We actually didn't go this way before. Now I'm certain there were nurses up here, and you could actually go up here before, obviously. I think that's the reason why I missed it, because I usually go up here first, but because in my brain, I kind of auto-registered that I picked up the Tome of Eternal Darkness, so I don't need to go back up that way, because I've already been up there. Like, that kind of happened. So we got the second soldier's letter. We're gonna go ring the bell for the custodian, but there's actually no bell to ring, and there's no point in being here whatsoever. So Private Jackson, he tells the tale about how soldiers have been disappearing in the night, with like no goodbye or anything. They just disappear, and he's been hearing weird voices at night, and he's been hearing people scream. And he's just despairing because he actually can't get up and leave, and he can't sleep either. and he was eventually taken away into the darkness to be fed to the Greater Guardian. So this is a sanity effect. I actually did look this up. This is a sanity effect. I always used to think that it was just a glitch, that the door would not open for whatever reason. But it's also kind of fucked up when you're in a room full of zombies like this, and the zombies also have bone thieves in them. I also discovered in this chapter that if you have the shield spell on, you won't actually take any health damage from sanity. The sanity drain will actually drain the shield instead, which is definitely quite helpful. Yeah, that sanity effect is rather annoying. Dodge the horror. So we got some preemptive boss music. The man's face is a ruined mass of beaten, but it doesn't look like that at all. And conveniently, they put a spell scroll here, and they even say, of all places, why would it be here in this corridor? It's probably because you're supposed to use it. Magical Attack is an AoE spell. It shoots lightning at everything within the vicinity. We're going to assign the 7 point to the right, and this will pretty much be my spell setup for the whole game, save for the bottom one being Magic Pool. And I might rotate it around depending on, different level of spells that I need. So before we get into this boss fight, there are some preparations that I need. I did take a look at that door for a little bit, just because the door is interesting, and I kind of marveled at the memory card screen. I thought it would be something fancy, like the darkness has taken over your memory card slot, or something like that. So in case the cutscene didn't make it obvious enough, weapons will not work at all against the Greater Guardian. You have to use the magical attack in order to damage it. So the first phase, it's gonna shoot these 3 balls. Your first time fighting the Greater Guardian, I recommend not using the 7 point magical attack, because the timing to get it off is really weird, but a successful 7 point magic attack will take out the boss in one hit. Or rather, each phase. So this one I kind of prepped myself, because I'm like, okay, I have to get this like right as soon as I unpause it, because you have to take in effect that the magical attack is not delayed by the casting time, but also by how many monsters it has to hit. So the Greater Guardian will be the last one, but I actually get it here. Alright, and then this is where he starts to stomp. He can stomp either 7, 10, or 12 times. I'm pretty sure it's the same for all of the Greater Guardians. And the crouch down kind of indicated that he was going to start glowing, which makes him vulnerable to the attack. And the Greater Guardian is vanquished. And it refills the magic meter for no reason. Everybody but Pius Augustus senses the danger. This is the Sigil of Zelatoth. One of the 3 artifacts we could have gotten at the beginning of the game. Pius would have most certainly served Zelatoth had he touched this one.
And that was how I came by it. I know it sounds crazy, but there you have it. The only proof I have is that statue.
It's a strange one. I've seen one like it before.
You have?
Yes. Very rare, though. Very obscure.
I've had experts take a look at it, and none of them know what it is. And you do.
I'm somewhat of an expert on these things myself. An interest I developed a long time ago while I was a young man.
Then you should keep it. Lord knows I have no interest in it. I am sure it's the cause of my sleeplessness. I keep thinking about it, as if it's calling out to me.
Then a drink, perhaps. For the gift. For an unusual objet d'art.
Right, so this detail is a little weird to me because it implies that Peter went all the way back to get the penny out of the fuse slot and put it specifically in the Tome of Eternal Darkness. Alright, well, I'll see you guys next time.